Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host. Got a little tongue-tied there. Hang on for a sec, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize if I did that. So, we are finally tackling the first of the live-action DreamWorks movies. Now, you probably again seen my community post that this year I'm covering DreamWorks movies. But I'm covering pre-Universal with DreamWorks. But since I've been doing DreamWorks, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and cover a DreamWorks movie. This time they teamed up with Fox. So we're taking a look at a movie that I've seen this before. I've seen this a good couple times, but didn't review it on the channel. And this is a movie that... I'm sorry about that, guys, but... this is a movie that I remember when this came out back in the day. I was so excited. Now, this is a movie I've seen back in the day. This movie starred Tom Hanks, Paul Newman, Jude Law, with Jennifer Jason Leigh, Stanley Tucci, and Daniel Craig, and newcomer Tyler Hoechlin. I'm hoping to pronounce that right. And this was released in 2002, and we are taking the Road to Perdition. Now, Road to Perdition it's a gangster movie, but this is actually based on a comic book by Max. I have to read the back. Max Allen Collins. Now, I'm familiar with the Road to Perdition comic, and I've seen this at my Dollar General, the graphic novel that this was based on. This is not a comic book, this is a graphic novel. But this was directed by the great Sam Mendes. Oh, and I'm watching the full screen edition. I actually got this at Dollar General a couple years back, but I didn't cover it much on the channel. But I love this movie. This movie is great. It is phenomenal. Let's actually talk about Road to Perdition. So, Road to Perdition follows Tom Hanks. He plays a guy named Michael Sullivan. He's a hired hitman, but here's the catch. Tom Hanks is a bad guy in this movie, and he works for a man named Mr. Rooney, played by Paul Newman. This also would be the actor's last on-screen performance. So this would be the final movie to have Paul Newman on screen. The only other Paul Newman movie I covered on the channel was Slapshot, and that was great too. This movie, like I said again, it's really good. I loved Road to Perdition. Now, the movie focused on, like I said, Sullivan. He also has a son named Michael Sullivan Jr., played by Tyler I'm just looking at the back. Hoechlin. And some of you know, but he would go on to portray Clark Kent on the small screen in the two Superman shows for the CW. So, yeah. And I was like, wow, I did not know he had a career after that. So, like I said, he's his son, and then you got his wife, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, Annie Sullivan, and they're like your typical family. He's enjoying his life of like being a kid, but he doesn't really know much about his father because he's so busy as a hired hitman to go after these people. So he's also sad at times, but there's also at the beginning of the movie, he's doing his job. Newspaper routing or handing newspapers, that kind of thing. So he's riding his bike in the snowy winter of 1931 is where the movie takes place. So he is like that. He's just being a kid. So right then he knows Hanks has a handgun, and then he's like that, and it says, "Pa, dinner's ready." And then it's like they go down, they have dinner, they do the blessing. So that's that. So now they're going to visit Mr. Rooney. So the kids get to meet Mr. Rooney, And the other brother's Peter, played by Lime Atkins. I'm probably getting that name wrong. So he's the younger brother. So like I said, they're going to visit, they're playing dice, and all of a sudden Michael goes into the car and he stumbles upon what his father's doing. So he sees his father and the other hired hitman to go after this man that Connor Rooney, who's Daniel Craig, murdered that man's brother. He's actually played by Karis Han, and he would later go on to play Julius Caesar in HBO's Rome. I think I covered a movie where he was in. He was in that. But yeah, he's saying, you murdered my brother. You murdered my brother. So they bring him out there, and he's trying to intervene. So they go to the whereabouts, and he's killed. So he spots him. All kinds of crazy stuff. So basically now, what's Hank's got to do? He's got to tell his son to keep his mouth shut. But Craig's character, Connor Rooney, is not liking that. So he knows something. He knows the kid. He knows the twerp is going to rat him out. So what does he do? He gets Hanks to go into the nightclub and go after these men. Then he gets a letter that says, kill Sullivan and all your debts are gone. Guess what he does? Connor Rooney, which is Daniel Craig's character, goes, not only murders his wife in cold blood, but his child in cold blood. 3 pops and they're dead. So now the son has to figure it out, and they don't show it on screen. I watched the commentary, and Mendy said that he didn't want to show that on screen until third quarters in the film. So yeah, he goes and tells Newman, who his father is, well, Paul Newman. So he's like saying, after he comes back, he's like, look, I'm sorry, kid was going to talk, kid was going to talk. So he panicked, and then he's like, no. He said not to do that. So now they have to leave the house. It's now an empty building. So they have to make their way, as they hit Chicago, and they make it to Perdition, which is hence the title of the film, Road to Perdition. So that's that. So now they get to Chicago, and he has to have that. Now we cut to he meets up with Stanley Tucci. Then we cut to Jude Law, who plays forgot his character's name. I'm kind of thinking the top of my head. Hang on a sec, let me get my phone. I know it's going to be a long review, guys, but I kind of want to talk about this movie. Let me get back to Jude Law. Sorry that guy. McGuire. He is. Let me turn that off. He's McGuire. McGuire is sort of a guy who takes photos. Jude Law plays McGuire, and he's the guy who takes photos of dead bodies. So that's his character. Hanks meets up with him at the diner. But his son doesn't listen to him, and he's like, we're stopping by a diner. You want to get something to eat? And then he's like, no, I'll stay in the car and read. But he doesn't listen. He said, you go in the diner, you go in the diner. Then he gets out of the diner, realizing McGuire has a gun. He goes out of the diner running because he knows he's going to get killed. So that's really that character alone. And then all of a sudden he shoots a cop. Now they got to head down to, I think they head to Chicago. No, they had Chicago before that to meet Tucci's character. And now they're heading off to meet up with the kid's aunt, which is his mom's sister. So they're trying to figure the ropes around. Oh, we also get Dylan Baker, who plays Rance, Mr. Rance, Alexander Rance. He's sort of the assistant to Newman. So now we get a great shootout in it, though. So he's telling Rance to hurry up and open up the drawer, and like, you almost got one try. You got one try left. And then all of a sudden then we get McGuire comes in. He has the boy spots he has a shotgun. So now McGuire loads the gun, he loads the rounds, and now a big shootout. So what does he do to prevent from him getting killed? He shoots the lamp, which the glass hits his like cheek right there. He's down on the ground. So that's that. So now we get them. Now he has to get the money to sort of survive. So it's like the redemption, the road, basically to save himself and his son's life, because who knows one of them two are going to make it out alive. Now I think I mentioned most of everything. I gotta talk about the one. There is an ending, but I'm going to talk about the one ending. I'm not going to tell you how it actually ends. But let's talk about that scene. There's a scene near the end of the film where Hanks walks into the Lexington Hotel, room 1432. Tushy tells him to go there. So we get this long scene. I'll talk about the cinematographer in a bit. So the long scene, they go in, press the elevator, goes in, he walks, you can like see the top of his hat. Then you see his face. Then you see him load the gun. He walks in, he goes into the apartment, goes into the bathroom. He finds Connor Rooney because he knows he's a con artist as well. He's not only a dirtbag, a murderer, but a con artist, all rolled into one. So what does he do? He pops 3 bullets in his noggin, icing the guy, and instantly killing him. And then what does he do? After he shoots him, he walks out, and like the bathroom door pans close, and you can like see the blood in the bathtub. Cut to his back view, and that's about it. And that's really that. So that's all I'm going to talk about most of the movie. There are lots of stuff I love to talk about, but let's talk about the good stuff. I loved everything about this. I think Sam Mendes is a director. I know I talked a lot about the film, but I have to really talk a lot about in detail, because if a movie is great, I'm going to talk a lot, because it may be a long review, but I gotta talk about the plot. I know the plot was a little long. I'm sorry if I kind of bored you guys, but now I'm going to talk about a lot of the good stuff, the cinematography. Eventually in cinematography, I'll talk about some specific scenes in the movie. Let's talk about the cinematographer. The cinematographer in this was none other than the late Conrad L. Hall, who worked with Sam Mendes on a little-known film called American Beauty, which would actually be his first feature film. Conrad Hall is one amazing cinematographer. The guy knows how to do, like, photography. And I realize if I were to become a cinematographer, I would always watch a Conrad Hall film, or Conrad L. Hall. I'm just going to say Conrad Hall for short. But phenomenal cinematographer. The man knows how to make a scene work, from lighting to knowing what the characters, what the audience see in the film, what the actors and actresses do on screen. It's gorgeous. This would also be Conrad Hall's last movie, because when this was released to DVD, there's a dedication to Conrad Hall, who would actually win the Oscar for this movie. He won previously for American Beauty and Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid, was nominated 9 times in his career. And just, the man knows how to make a movie look great. And just, I've seen a lot of movies, but as a director, as a photographer, he's just great. The acting is spot on. Even from Tyler, I can't think of his name right now. Tyler Hochulin? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, but talk about a first-time career. Hard to believe this, but he's still going strong as an actor. In fact, he was in Teen Wolf, Superman. He's been in a bunch of other things. But yeah, he is just good for a newcomer. He is really good. And Sam Mendes is the director. He made some great movies. I've covered a movie on the channel before called Away We Go, which made on my best list. I may have a hunch. I'm not sure if this is going to be my 10 best list, but this movie is so good. Like I said, I've seen this before, and it's just so good. The scenes alone, like sometimes he'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 shot. He'll do like a 1 shot, which is a close-up shot. This is going back to Conrad Hall. Second close-up shot. When Jude Law is taking the photo of a dead body, and he's like taking, I believe, a cloth to the guy's mouth to get him to stop moving. One shot is like close-up. Second shot is a medium shot, and third shot is zoomed out, and you can see like a train go by fast. It's gorgeous. The scene where Hankson's son is walking up the stairs, so gorgeous. You can see the lighting, the clouds, and it's like sundown. It's just gorgeous. What a cinematographer. I mean, the costume design's really good. I never read the comics. Now that I watched this movie, I'm almost tempted to go buy and read the comics, and this is just so good. There are actually 5 of these. This is based on the first comic book in that series. But man, the character is so good. It's just chilling at times, and there are lots of scenes I didn't know about. So this was sort of like a first-time watch, but not really a first-time watch. But I think as a film, not a lot of people will like this one, but I mean, for a movie by Sam Mendes, fresh off American Beauty, knows how to direct the movie. And I've loved his movies probably ever since. But man, it's just, wow. This movie is so good. Great performances. Tom Hanks is phenomenal in this. There's a blurb by Kenneth Turner who said this was really good though. But Road to Perdition is not just a film and not just a movie. It's a cinematic masterpiece. And if you have not seen this movie, what are you waiting for? Please go see this movie. It is really... I'll move that out of the way, the glare. Yeah, okay. It is so good. From the cast, the directing, the pacing, the cinematography, and a little known information, this will be Conrad Hall's last movie, because at the very end of the film, there's actually a dedication to the man, and for so many decades in the film industry, he just nails it right out of the park. And just, I wish we had more cinematographers like him, but he's just wow. And just, he's been a cinematographer since the 60s. He did the cinematography for Newman's film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and I believe another Paul Newman movie. So he has been a cinematographer in a couple of the Paul Newman movies. He's done a bunch. Like American Beauty was his second win. This will be his third win. And he's done that. He's nominated for Tequila Sunrise. Jennifer 8, I do believe, was another one. I think. There's a ton of others. The Search for Bobby Frisker. Conrad Hall is a true film. If you're a film lover, this is a cinematographer. A lot of cinematographers would look up to the guy and would know he is sort of like the grandfather of cinematographers. It seems like I'm talking more about the cinematographer, but that's the thing. The cinematographer is like the second assistant director. He's the guy that lets the director know, hey, Sam, do you want to do this scene? Or, hey, Sam, does that look right? And then he would get the okay. He would get the thumbs up. Say, sure, that's a cinematographer's job. I mean, if I were to get into cinematography, I probably would look towards none other than the great Conrad Hall. But yeah, it's a great movie regardless. I know I'm talking more about the cinematographer, but everybody just put a great job. Aside from Away We Go, I will still say Away We Go is my second favorite movie, and that's a great movie. And that was on my 10 best list on my 10 best of last year. This movie might make it on there. I'm gonna probably debate upon either might be in honorable mentions, but it's regardless. I'm getting ahead of myself though. It's just, I mean, like Daniel Craig's character, in my opinion, is a complete dirtbag, and that scene alone at the end, it makes you think. You want to say, I know it's just a movie and I shouldn't, but it makes you just want to say, good, I'm glad the guy's dead, because he was a dirtbag. Like I said, he was a jerk, a murderer, and a con artist all rolled in one. Because I'll talk real quick before I get to the review. They find the money in the bank, and eventually all the money was written to Connor Rooney. But then they realize he's, like I said, he's a scammer. He scammed the bank so much. So Hanks, like I said, he went into the apartment and basically took out the trash. But that's all I'm going to mention. But the ending has a sort of, you think, happily ever after, but nope, we don't have a happily ever after. Although the last scene where Michael Sullivan Jr. is walking to meet up with his aunt is great. And then fade the credits. So that's about it. I kind of ramble on so much. I don't want to make this into a long review. I try my best to keep my reviews short, but I don't want to make it into a long review. So let's go ahead and just rate it right now. I'm going to give Road to Perdition an automatic 5 out of 5. Even though I've seen this before, I just feel like I can't find the flaws in it. I can't find any flaws. There's like no bad acting. There's nothing bad in this movie. This movie is a solid S-tier film. This is not just a movie, but a cinematic masterpiece. If you love Tom Hanks, if you love all these actors, if you want to see Paul Newman in his final role, Road to Perdition is the way to go. This is a movie that I think film schools, film lovers, or history buffs should see. Do yourself a favor, get a copy of this movie, and give this a watch. I'm begging you. You will not miss out. Do not sleep on this movie, guys. It is so good from start to finish. It is amazing. I think I mentioned everything. If there's anything I missed about this movie, let me know in the review. Let me know in the comments on the bottom. Let me know what you guys think of Road to Perdition. So, I'm going to end it there right now. Please see Road to Perdition. Please, 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 please see this movie. So, that's my review of Road to Perdition. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content of the channel, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to get all of my video notifications. I'm on Letterboxd, guys, so you guys can check me out there as well. And I rate the movie before I review it. So that's about it. So yeah, and as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.